Julie and the Phantoms was the one good thing to come out of 2020. I recently rewatched the show while I was cleaning my room, just as background noise, and I totally forgot how incredible it was. Everything about it was perfect. There was not a single flaw anywhere. Well, I guess there was one thing I didn't like, and it's the fact that Netflix ripped it away from us. Don't get me wrong, I love Squid Game, and I like Stranger Things, but I would give up both of those great shows just to see that band together once again. Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger with Nick getting possessed. How could they have explained that? Not to mention the 5-year gap. Also completely off script, I am so happy for Madison. So in this video, I will be pitching my ideas that I would have liked to seen in season 2. Now, these aren't fan theories, but just things that I would have liked to have happened in the show. So I hope you like what I have to say, because this is the closest I will ever get to season 2. In season 2, I would have had loved to see Julie and the Phantoms go on tour. Why? Because it would have been fun. Now obviously they would have had to travel on a tour bus, and since nobody can see the boys other than Julie, I think it would have been a funny moment throughout the season to have the tour bus driver notice in his rearview mirror that she's talking to herself and he sees objects floating around in the back of the bus. I picture his character kinda like Crazy Carl from Sonic and that one dude from Gravity Falls.
Are you some kind of witch?
Yes, I am a witch.
Well, time to round up a mob.
When I rewatched the show, I was left stuck wondering, how could they have continued on with that cliffhanger? And then I thought, what if we saw Nick trapped in his own mind? Kinda like the movie Get Out, but it would mainly look like Stranger Things. Caleb would walk out of the shadows and introduce himself to Nick. Nick realizes him as the man from Julie's doorstep and asks him, "Why am I here?" Caleb begins to monologue about his plan. Something like needing Nick's body to get closer to Julie to understand how she can see her ghost friends. After that's done, I imagine the rest would go something like this. "You might have full control of my body, but you can't play me forever. Eventually you're gonna slip up." Maybe, but it's easy to play a role when you have a script. This is every detail about you. I've had some time to go through it. Caleb would teleport and then reappear from behind Nick, holding onto his shoulders. And then he begins to sing a song about Nick being in his control. In my head, I was thinking it would be like Perfect Harmony, where Julie was daydreaming about a song that wasn't even real. Take that concept, but give it to this guy. Can you imagine just a huge performance all in Nick's mind? It would have been like the other side of Hollywood, but inside the Mind Palace. It would have been so cool. Now, I'm not a songwriter, but they could have had some lyrics referring to Nick as his puppet. The title of the song could have been something like The Puppet of Mine. Can you tell that I put a lot of thought into this? I feel like it shows. So I was thinking maybe it would be best if I'ma just do something real quick. There we go. Now for season 1, it was funny having Flynn not be able to see the boys, but I feel like that joke would have gotten annoying over time. So for her to be able to see them, maybe the show could have gave her some kind of special Ouija board or something. That way she would be able to talk to them whenever Julie's talking to them too. Maybe the show could have introduced some kind of gypsy character, and that's how they got the Ouija board? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. In season 1, episode 2, Luke told us that Reggie's parents were on the verge of getting a divorce, and Alex's parents weren't really the same after he came out to them. I don't really have any ideas how they could have explored it, but all I know is that those two should have had their own moment to shine, just like Luke did with Unsaid Emily. By the way, one of my favorite episodes and songs from that show. Like I said before, Julie and the Phantoms on tour would have made season 2 so much bigger and better, and Unsaid Emily was one of the best songs and best moments in that show. So if they wanted to top that moment, I think having Luke's parents in the crowd seeing their boy play for the world like he's always wanted would have been so heartwarming. How did they find out? Maybe online like how Bobby did? I don't know, I'm just the idea man. But to have Luke performing on stage and to see his parents see him living his dream as he gives them a subtle wave back and the mom realizes that's her son?
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Kinda like that scene in 17 again when the mom found out about her husband. Now, I'm kind of focusing on Luke, mainly because that's the only band member we actually get to know about. But anyway, Flynn would have had the special Ouija board to communicate with the boys, like I said before. Well, what if Luke's parents visited Julie's garage because they wanted to know how their son was associated with Julie? So Julie grabs the board so they can talk to him after all these years. they probably wouldn't be able to hug, but I think the actors would have given an incredible performance without even needing to touch. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. For this one, I was thinking it would be a deep emotional moment between the boys. And visually, it would be a powerful shot of them seeing their headstones on a cloudy day. Luke would probably try to hype them up and say something like, "We might be dead, but our music can live through others." Kind of like that one scene of them at the beach. But, more sad and stuff. I also thought maybe it would be more emotional having Reggie's mom walk up to her son's grave and rest a flower on his headstone as she cries for him. Reggie would try to hug his mom. It doesn't work a few times, but maybe on the third attempt, his arms finally rest on her shoulders, and we see her face light up as she can feel her son's presence. The name Sunset Curve is such a perfect rock band name. I don't know how they landed on it, but I'm glad that they did. There's something about it that's gentle and yet rebellious all in one. And it would have been beautiful to see the origin of the name in a little flashback. I was thinking the three guys would be at a parking lot right near the beach as the sun is setting. Luke and Reggie are discussing how their lives are at home. Alex is sitting on top of a car with a notebook and a pen. And Bobby, he wouldn't be in the scene. Let's say his dad grounded him or something. In Alex's notebook, we see potential names for their band covering the paper, but leaving an empty space right in the middle. I think the scene could have played out with Reggie fixing his guitar in rage, because of how hectic his house has become lately. Luke would have been telling him about this gig that they got at this book club. A little nod to season 1. Now, I'm not good when it comes to fan fiction or writing dialogue for it, but if I had to make something up, I think Luke would say something like, "Forget about your parents and what they're going through. That's their life. Right here, right now is your life. Alex, Bobby, and me, we'll all be together as a true family. That's what this band is about. And if our parents can't see that, it doesn't matter because we do." After his dramatic speech, Alex looked up across the ocean and sees the sun going down. As the sensitive one in the group, he would admire its beauty as if it was a work of art. An idea pops into his head, and he fills in that empty spot with the name Sunset Curve. The episode would fade to black, and the Netflix Continue Watching would pop on screen.
Someone cooked here.
So yeah, that would have been my version of season 2. I know there were some characters I left out, but that's because I really couldn't figure out what they would have done in the other season. They still would have been there, but that would have been the show's problem to worry about. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Comment what you think should have happened in season 2. If you have any theories on what could have been, I would love to hear them. But unlike Julie and the Phantoms, I will be back for more. Bye!
Why are you crying?